So first, can you just tell me a little bit about yourselves? Let's just start with your name, your grade, and what's your major?
Yeah, I'm Camagway Horn. I'm a fourth-year sociology major, so about to graduate. I'm also the secretary of our LGBTQ Pride Club. We had our first meeting last night as of recording, and we had a lot of people come. It was really successful, and I'm really excited for our future.
Awesome.
Yeah. And my name's Allison Bradish. I'm a junior, and I'm a communication major concentrated on public relations. I also have a minor in sociology, and I'm the vice president of Pride Club, actually. So just like Camagway said, we had a really successful meeting last night, which was exciting.
Awesome. So besides Pride Club, are there any other clubs you guys are involved with?
I am not involved with any other clubs yet, but I might look into a club that relates to my major this year to get more involved in that.
Yeah.
I used to be involved a lot in other student activist organizations here on campus, but right now I am currently most involved in Pride Club.
Gotcha. And where are you guys from originally?
I'm from Palm Bay, Florida, so just down south in Brevard County. Born and raised there, same household. I've never left until now.
I'm from Miami. Nice 5 hour drive from here.
Yeah, not too bad. What's something maybe interesting about yourselves? Like maybe somewhere you've been or something you've done, if you have anything?
I'm really into music and playing instruments. So I've played the violin for 10 years now, and different percussion instruments along the way. I used to march the snare drum and the bass drum, so I just really like music a lot.
Band
Cool.
kid.
Yeah, I'm a band kid. I know.
I'm really terrible at answering this question.
What's the worst question?
I'm very much a technology oriented person, so at home I have this big fancy PC I tinker with all the time. Just anything tech is kind of my forte.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what does the LGBTQ Center here at UNF do and strive for as a group?
Allison, you want to take this one because you're typically better at answering it than I am.
Why, thank you. Don't sell yourself short, though. So at the LGBTQ Center, what we're focused on is creating a safe space for not only students, but the Jacksonville community in general, but obviously especially UNF students. So it's about having a safe space, a loving and accepting space. You can come do your homework there. You can come find resources. We can direct you towards finding maybe counseling resources, hormone replacement therapy resources, and everything like that. So it's just a safe space to be.
Yeah. Do you guys do any events or anything throughout the year?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. You're
I'm really bad at this.
We have a couple events coming up this month. I wish I could give you dates, but there's so much going on. We have a pop-up clinic happening with Student Health Services, I think the 20-something, later in the month, where they're going to be doing a lot of informational presenting on different STDs and their vaccines. They're going to be talking more about the warning signs of if you might have monkeypox and how to best handle that. They're going to be talking about the monkeypox vaccine and trying to get resources to actually pass those out. So we have stuff like that that's more focused on information and health, but then we also do all kinds of fun stuff where it's you might get together and make some crafts, or you might get together and there's just free food and different games going on. What am I missing about events?
In the LGBTQ Center, we do have a big calendar in our office that shows all the future events we're going to have. So that's also a helpful resource. So if you stop in, we can just tell you, and you can see what's going on soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, we have all kinds of events, especially one thing I forgot. We're about to start up, I think next week, our weekly it's kind of group talk. I don't want to call it group therapy, but it's called Rainbow Chats. So every week, I believe Tuesday afternoons, people can get together and kind of just talk about what's going on.
So what does the word pride mean to you?
Okay, this is the point of the interview where I get very honest.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it is not. It's a very terrifying time to be an LGBTQ person here right now, and has been for decades. We are living in a time where our rights are being threatened and violated on multiple fronts. So to me, to have pride is to take a stance against hate, both hate directed at yourself and hate directed at others.
Taking a stand. No, that's a really good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah, me too. What's a word you would use instead of pride, like to substitute it? Like, what's a similar word for pride, would you say?
The word that probably closest fits the definition I gave in my last answer was perseverance, but also solidarity is another word that comes to mind.
I love that.
Solidarity meaning like to support each other, especially in times of struggle and hardship. And we cannot fight this alone. We cannot fight hate alone. We have to stand with each other, like no matter what.
Yeah, there's power in numbers.
Exactly.
Definitely. Do you have any words you would use instead of pride?
I feel like self-love. Not just, I don't want to say self-acceptance because it's like, well, you shouldn't have to accept or not accept yourself or others. So I feel like it's more about having love for yourself and realizing that you're just as valid as anybody else. You're allowed to appreciate every part of you just like anybody else would.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, with, as we've kind of been talking, with everything going on, what has been your opinion and perception on the recent bill that's been passed in Florida that people are calling the Don't Say Gay bill by DeSantis? So how has that impacted you, others around you, especially being in Florida?
Well, I think the Don't Say Gay bill is the symptom of a serious problem we're facing today. I know, I genuinely believe this bill, in addition to others, reflects a widespread descent of our country into hateful authoritarianism, and LGBTQ people are the scapegoat which these authoritarians will use, as they historically have, to bring those horrible ideas into reality. And I'm not just talking about hypothetical dictatorships here. The spread of hate against LGBTQ people has emboldened hate groups to commit horrible crimes against us, up to even calling for our mass imprisonment or even execution of our people. However, as history has also showed us, LGBTQ folk are a proud, strong, sometimes even headstrong people, so we're not going to take this all sitting down. We are going to go out there and vote and defend ourselves and our rights, and I truly do believe we're going to get through all of this in one piece together.
Yeah, I think that was really well said. But I just think the Don't Say Gay bill and any other bill like that, it's not even just trying to like silence the queer people that are here now. It's like also disrespecting previous generations and everything that they've worked towards to like get everybody to where they are now with equality and acceptance and more equal rights, because we're not even there yet. But it's just so disrespectful, and I feel like nobody should be that concerned about who loves who identifies as who.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times people can say that it's not a choice. I mean, straight people didn't wake up one day and decide they're straight. They just knew that they felt that way. So why do we decide? Like, why do we pick and choose who we're gonna not support? I think it's the weirdest thing. And bills like this, like writing this stuff into legislation, it gives the state and people who have hate in their hearts like more grounds to justify their beliefs and their actions. And I think it's really affected a lot of people. Like you were saying, like who has it impacted in your life? Like everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in my life, even if they're not queer, like anyone who's an ally, it affects everybody because it hurts like to know that people feel this way, and then it just puts LGBTQ lives in danger, like Camagüey said.
And in terms of the educational level, I am related to like a teacher, and he says he's an ally, and he says that everyone at his school is very upset with this bill, and they are doing everything they can to peacefully resist it, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think their contributions are also very important.
Yeah, my mother is a guidance counselor at a public elementary school, and she's already been sat down by her boss and told, like, listen, if a child comes to you and discloses anything about they want to use different pronouns or they think they're gay, like, you have to call their parents and tell them. And my mom's like, no, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm a safe space. I'm a guidance counselor. This is confidential. I'm not going to out children and put them in danger just because of these hateful laws. So it has affected, like, everybody I know.
Yeah, and I think with that, like you just said, the safe space. So how is, because I think a lot of schools and public schools have, you see a lot of classrooms saying, like, this is a safe space, like, you can talk to us. So how do you think maybe this bill has impacted the way students feel at schools where they don't feel like they can talk to anybody?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of students don't feel like it's a safe space anymore. Even with teachers who have gone through official and legitimate safe space training, I think a lot of kids might start bottling up what they're feeling and experiencing out of fear of being outed or rejected.
It's super alienating, and we fear this could have severe mental health effects on students.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you think that might impact the students bottling up, not being able to talk to anybody about how they feel?
Yeah, I definitely think that mental health issues are only going to get more severe. I mean, we already know that that's a very common problem among queer people and queer youth, just because of what they've had to go through and the way that this country perceives them and treats them. And I just think it's only going to get worse with like suicide rates, depression, and anxiety, because these kids and just grown adults, they're going to feel like they don't have a place where they belong.
Just talked about, but can you talk about the importance of having an LGBTQ center at schools and universities, even like UNF, to help people feel accepted and feel, like they belong somewhere? So, yeah, talk about the importance of that.
We are very lucky and grateful to have an LGBTQ center here on campus. I've been here for a while now. The center has given me a safe space where I can go without feeling judged or threatened by people who might despise me or hate me for who I am. It's also provided me community, like almost everyone I know I met through the LGBTQ center. So it's nice to have a place where people like me can congregate and talk to each other and build a community.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that I'm biased, but I truly feel like you will never find anything as special as like an LGBTQ center or club at a school. Because again, even if you're an ally, like there's so much love in that space, and it's so important to have that everywhere so people physically see that they're not being erased, that they matter, that a presence that involves them can exist on a campus, because they need to know that they have a voice. And it's a great way to build community.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so as LGBTQ plus Pride History Month approaches, what does it mean to celebrate and honor the people and events that have impacted the community and its development and where it is now? So,
when it comes to Pride Month, LGBTQI Pride Month, History Month, sorry. Pride History Month.
All of it.
All of it, yes. All of it.
The whole thing.
History is a great way to learn that things are not hopeless, that we have in the past shown great resistance to the horrors that we have faced, and we can learn that we are not alone, we have support, and there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it as well is, of course, the support and the love and the community that you find, but also showing you're not backing down, because it shouldn't have to be this big fight to be heard and to have equal rights and equal access to resources, but for some reason it still is. It is a big fight, and again, there's power in numbers. When people come together, I mean, even if other people are hateful towards the community, when we're all coming together, it shows that even if you have a really horrible mindset and attitude towards us, we're not going to back down, we're not going to shy away, and that we understand our importance as allies in the queer community and how we can advocate for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, with the history of Pride Month and everything, what historical figure would you say has had a significant impact on the evolution of the LGBTQ community?
Well, I'd love to fill up our time singing the praises of Marsha Johnson and Harvey Milk and other people like that. I also think it's important to recognize the history of LGBTQ community, as a group, because his history, as commonly taught, as we are commonly led to believe it happens, is through great figures like Johnson and Milk. However, that is not always the case. It is hardly ever the case, actually. This is just history nerd in me talking. And the contributions of large groups as communities is also very important to our history. And we should take more time to recognize that, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. And like you mentioned, Marsha P. Johnson, the P stands for pay no mind, because that's what she would tell people. A lot of people don't know that. But historical figures like her are definitely credited with a lot. And that is not to say that their contributions did not have an impact and that they did not matter. But like, for example, she's credited with, in theory, being the first one to throw the first brick at the Stonewall riots in New York. But we're not even sure if that's actually true. I'm pretty sure we've heard that she wasn't even there at the time when they started. So although she has still like helped pave the way, it's in the community, it's in the groups of people who have come together over time. It's not just one individual who's made sole impact alone. It's everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Stonewall was a riot, not someone standing in the street.
Yeah,
that makes
exactly. It was a group of people, a riot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so if you could have lunch with any LGBTQ artist, actor, singer, anyone at all, who would it be and why?
I think about this question a lot, actually. And I think one of my picks would be, I'm big on film, so the actor Marlon Brando, rest in peace, would be probably my pick. He was pretty much openly bisexual as someone could be in his time. I like him in a lot of movies like Superman, The Godfather. He was also big on activism and standing against hate, even if it was not hate directed towards him. Like one time he rejected an Academy Award because of Hollywood's treatment of and depiction of indigenous peoples at the time. And I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah. And then I would say Jazz Jennings. I don't know if that's like a more cliche answer. She's about our age. She goes to Harvard. But I grew up like watching her TLC show, I Am Jazz, and that was how I first learned about what it meant to be transgender. Because I'm not transgender, and I had never heard of that until I saw her on TV, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, I didn't know that some people felt this way, because I was like a child when I first heard from her, or not heard from her, we're not friends, but like saw anything about her in the media. And I think she's really inspiring to this generation because she's our age. She was able to come out early on in life and have a really supportive family. She was able to transition really early, and through her TV show and her social media, she's very raw about what she's gone through and all of her struggles with like health problems, mental health problems, just the way society and the law have treated her. So I would say that I'd love to meet Jazz Jennings.
Who is your favorite LGBTQ artist, like singer or music, I guess? And do you have a favorite song or album from that person or band?
This is your chance, Allison.
So Camagüey loves to make fun of me, along with many other friends, because I definitely would say Harry Styles would be one of them, which I said before we started that I'm not going to say Harry Styles, but here we are. I know that a lot of people feel some type of way. It's very mixed opinions on Harry Styles. But I feel like even if he has never specifically said that he is queer, we at least know he is very queer, loving, queer, accepting. I mean, you will always see him holding pride flags at his shows. If interviewers have asked him questions before about his sexuality, he's like, why does it even matter?
Yeah.
You know, he's hinted about not just loving women. So I believe he might be queer. That's really not for us to like make a spectacle, but even if he's not, I think he's a wonderful ally. Somebody who's out that I could mention is Troye Sivan, who's like an actor, a singer. He used to have a little YouTube channel. Like he's done it all.
I think that's how I first started.
Yes, I used to binge watch him on YouTube. Yes, but I think he's got a beautiful voice. I think he's done a lot for the queer community, a lot of representation as well, and I just love all his music, especially his older songs. Have you heard of Troye Sivan? Okay, well, he has a couple of older songs called Youth and Wild. And I really feel like there's a lot of like queer undertones in those songs, and I think they're so sweet. I love those. But what would you say, Camagüey?
So unfortunately, I do not have an answer to this question. I'm really bad with artists and stuff because I kind of just listen to what Spotify gives me. I don't pay attention to artists or anything like that.
That's fair.
Honestly, same. Okay, well, those are all my questions. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or that I didn't ask that you want to mention? Maybe.
I would like to say, and not to make anything too like sad or dark of a note, but I would like to say, just like as a member of Pride Club and a UNF student, just being on campus, there has been a lot going on out on the green with very right-wing religious
fundamentalists.
Yes.
Extremists.
Yes, extremists. They like to say and do things to evoke emotion in people, and not typically good emotions. And I feel like it's really important to acknowledge their presence on campus right now.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry.
You're fine. Add in.
I just wanted to say, as students, you have rights. You
Yes.
have a lot of rights that many people don't, so
Yes.
take advantage of those rights.
Right. I just think that it's important to acknowledge their presence on campus, because even though I'm not sure I would personally agree with going out there and like egging them on, if we all just keep walking past them and ignoring them, so far they still come back, whether you egg them on or not.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of power in recognizing what's going on around here and choosing to peacefully and rightfully do something about it, or at least say something about how you're feeling. But also, we don't want people to feel discouraged, because we know a lot of first years who are LGBTQ plus identifying, who got here and their first impression of the campus was, wow, there's like these really radical people out there who tell me that I shouldn't exist and that I won't find love and that there are people out to hurt me. And it's
now
like,
they're terrified to even go out on the green.
Yeah.
right, like we have these first years already trying to learn the back ways around campus, and I feel like it's really important to remind everybody that people like that have a lot of First Amendment rights, but that doesn't mean UNF is not a safe space. These people are just going to try to get their message out however they can, but that's not the impression that we want people to get of UNF, because there's so much love here in Pride Club, in the LGBTQ Center, in the Women's Center, etc. Everything in ODI. There's so much love and support here, and there's like always a safe space on campus. So we just want people to know that.
Talk about your center and how students can get involved, or how they can find more information about it.
Yeah, so the LGBTQ Center is open to the public. Obviously, we really want a lot of the UNF community, students and staff, to come visit us, but anybody in the Jax area can walk on in. It's in the Student Union East Wing, so 58E. We are room 1111. There's just some angel numbers right there, so I think we're lucky. But anybody can come by, and we have a website. We're on social media. If you just look up UNF LGBT, you'll find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have a newsletter that people can sign up for through our website, so they can get email alerts about different events and everything. Am I missing anything, Cameron?
Probably the location. Did you mention the location?
I did.
Okay.
Yes. Room 1111 in the East Wing of the Student Union.
Perfect.
Close to the game room, because I know the student union can be a little confusing.
Yes,
sometimes.
and we are kind of tucked around the corner. So if you find the game room, just keep walking, and then you'll find us around the corner by the IT office.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming and talking with me.
Thank you.
Thank you
you've
for the
done-
opportunity.
Yeah, of course.